In an era where warfare is evolving faster than ever before, the men and women guarding India's seas are preparing not just for the present, but for what lies ahead. Behind the technology, the platforms, and the strategy are individuals whose journeys into the uniform often begin years before their first posting.
Carpe diem is seize the day is actually how most of the people over here live.
Ahead of the 77th Republic Day, we present to you an exclusive interview with the 27-year-old Lieutenant Ojas Tohra, who is currently attached to Indian Navy's one of the most advanced warships. Tohra, a fourth-generation officer, talks about his first visit to the National Defence Academy as a toddler and knowing right then that he wanted to join the armed forces.
There's a very mysterious and charming quality to the ocean, ma'am, which I wanted to explore and learn about. When you think about the Navy, you think about ships and submarines and pirates and divers, and it was all a little too romantic to pass upon.
Lieutenant Tohra looks back at the fond memories from his time at the NDA, where he was shaped into an officer.
A lot of people in my family are actually in the military. I myself am a fourth-generation officer. My great-grandfather, my grandfather and my father were all in the army. And speaking of my mother's father was an officer in the Border Roads organization. So my family has always been very supportive. My father has been a role model and an inspiration throughout. So I'm actually very proud that I get to follow in his footsteps. My father is an alumnus of the National Defence Academy. I was about 3 or 4 years old when he was in Pune for a course. So one Sunday he just took me and my mother to visit the academy, and I just fell in love with all of it. Even till date, I feel the academy is one of the most magnificent places I've ever visited, and it has a lot of history and heritage and culture linked with it. My parents tell me that it was on the first visit that I first said that this is where I want to go and I want to join the armed forces.
Commissioned into the executive branch of the Indian Navy in November 2020, Lieutenant Tohra's journey mirrors the evolution of India's modern military officer. Well-versed in academics, seasoned in operations, and increasingly attuned to the demands of the technology-driven warfare.
War and skirmishes they've always driven technological innovation throughout history. Op Sindoor was no different. We were able to display a lot of our capabilities, including, as you mentioned, the cutting-edge indigenous technologies we've developed and the high-precision vectors we hold. It also gave us a lot of perspective as to how information can be used to control narratives, and I think it was a watershed moment for us because we were able to display credible deterrence using the technology that we had and the tri-service action that was undertaken. We are better prepared than we've ever been, but we can never be prepared enough, which is why we continue to train. We continue to push for innovation both within the service and from our civilian partners. The Navy is commissioning more ships and submarines than it has ever done before. There is a massive push for innovation with respect to directed energy weapons, drones, electronic warfare. But like you mentioned, on one of the fronts, the military that you're talking about is the third largest in the world, and the coefficient actually ranks them second. They have a Navy which has 3 times the assets that we do. So yes, we have a lot of ground to cover, but we are getting there, definitely.